Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal Creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukr to Allah, we are alive, I'm healthy, I am progressing in life, spiritually, psychologically, in every way possible. My life just gets better and better only by the will of Allah, only by the grace of Allah, who has given me guidance and given me a mind to recognize guidance and the value of guidance. So I'm very grateful that I continue to be alive and continue to progress spiritually with Iman, progress psychologically with Amal, and progress in my life, the life tayyibun, and looking forward to the afterlife, the akhirah. The Quran says for those who have faith in their hearts, who have Amal, whether they're man or woman, in this world there's a life tayyibun, and there's a blissful return. So I testify to the truth that is the Quran, that when the Quran is understood and you use your reason and you apply yourself to go beyond the darkness into the light, to have the diseases of your hearts healed, you will no longer be with the diseased heart, or as diseased heart that I once had. I am no longer. It's when this disease in the heart is released that your life begins to improve in this world through your death and beyond. Shukr to Allah. Alright, so last week I said that from now my focus has changed. I'm no more going to tell you my story of where I've been and how I stepped onto this wonderful path of what I call human excellence, the path of Iman, Amal, a life tayyibun, and a blissful return. I stepped onto that path, and through a moment of challenge, great challenge and difficulty, I shifted my awareness onto Allah and turning to Him for His assistance. And up until then, I had never ever turned to Allah. And so a lot of us, as long as we feel needy and we turn to Allah needily, feeling needy, please help me, please, 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 I need, I'm desperate, that means we're not turning to Allah recognizing that we have Allah. We're not looking to Allah and experiencing Allah as sufficient for us. So this is how most people keep themselves away from Allah consciousness. I was one of them. This is how most people keep themselves from being aware, from remembering Allah and experiencing assurance in their heart. I was one of those who, through focusing on this world and looking to this world to feel okay, if somebody loved me, I'd feel okay. If somebody gave me what I needed them to give me, I'll be okay. If somebody took care for me or taken care of me, I'll be okay, And so, in a sense, it's a type of shirk when you look to the creation to feel okay. It's like an attachment, looking for relief in the world, safety in this world, excitement in the world. It's a type of spiritual underdevelopment. It's actually, what powerlessness is all about, being spiritually disempowered. The more spiritually disempowered you are, I speak from my own experience, having been previously spiritually disempowered, and you have a disease in your heart, you look into the world and you're so absorbed in the world, you don't realize that there's a creator of the world and that you can be aware of Allah and you can experience assurance with Allah. You see, a lot of people say they believe in Allah in the last day, but the Quran tells us that they say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they aim to deceive Allah and the believers, but they do not deceive Allah. They only deceive themselves, and they are unaware of doing this. I always quoted that verse, but I didn't quote it completely. I used to always quote it as, there are those who say they believe in Allah in the last day, as to paraphrase it. Those who say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they do not believe in Allah in the last day, they, and I would get to the next verse, which is, in their hearts is a disease, and that disease is expanded. But in between those two statements, that they don't lie to Allah, they only lie to themselves, and that there's a disease in their heart and that disease is expanded, it says they are unaware of it. They are in denial. The language that we use, regarding matters like this, it's the person is in denial. Like a drug addict is in denial. No, I don't have a problem. A hypocrite, no, I believe in Allah. They're in denial of their own self-deception. I was one of those. You know what I mean? Because now I know. If you ask me, how do you know that time you were a non-believer, now you're a believer? How do you know that time you were a hypocrite? Now I say, well, now when I remember Allah, my heart experiences assurance. Verily in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. And I can vouch for that. I can tell you. People who know me can tell me you seem much more peaceful, much more calmer, much more happier. I say, yeah, that's what happens when you heal the diseases in your heart. The Quran says, bring to Allah a purified heart. That's the only thing that's going to avail you. Not your wealth, not your children, not your job, not your families. The only thing that's going to avail you is bringing to Allah a purified heart. You know what I mean? That's it. The Quran tells us, not your wealth, not you can be like, I'm for my family, my children and all that. I'm here for, my business and my success in this world. It's not going to avail you, the Quran says. It's only those who bring to Allah a purified heart. But bringing to Allah a purified heart is what's going to avail you. It's going to benefit you. Nothing is going to benefit you in your return to Allah except bringing a purified heart. So my heart was diseased. I was in denial. Other people say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they don't believe. Their hearts are in disease. They're in denial. They think they're lying to Allah and the believers, but they only lie to themselves. They don't lie to Allah. They're unaware of their own self-deception. See, if somebody told me before I went through this, you are not a believer, I'd say, what do you mean? I keep my fast and I'm a Muslim. I got a, stubble beard on my face. I will kill for Islam. But I'm just giving you an example. The fanaticism. But the truth of the matter is, I wasn't really aware of Allah. And I was turning to Allah like most people turn to Allah. Help, help, help. Needily. It's like an addiction, religious addiction, right? And for me what shifted was I turned to Allah for help, but then He really guided me to turn to Him for guidance. Most of us don't know we haven't received guidance yet. Most of us don't know we don't have guidance. People say, but I said the kalima, I have guidance to say the kalima. I read the Quran in a language I don't understand. I don't understand a word of what I'm reading. I don't understand the message. I have guidance. My family is guided. Really? Look around your family and you. How's your heart? Are you humble before your Creator? Every day do you feel that spiritual well-being? Is your heart one that is tranquil? Because Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believer as He increases their level of belief. I can tell you that's my situation. I can tell you I feel more tranquil than ever before as my heart is expanded in faith. If you believe in Allah, He will guide your heart. I can tell you my heart is being guided. Intuition. So people say, but we believe. No, you think you believe. You deceive yourself. And you're even unaware that you deceive yourself. You get what I mean? I was one of those. So if a person is like needy on Allah, we need you because somebody we love doesn't love us anymore. Because something we love, money is not there anymore. Something we love, fame in the world, we don't have it. We lost our job. We need you because something in the world we lost now. See, that's an error. We have Allah. Allah is enough for us to feel secure. Now, to a denier, to a mushrik, and to a munafiq, they have no clue what I am talking about. Because they're so lost, they're They don't even know how lost they are. I told you, the most lost of people are those who don't know they are lost and they are thinking that they are on the right path. You see, the most lost of people. But we have like indications from the Quran. If you're thankful, you get more. Now in my life, I'm getting more and more because I'm thankful. Now if somebody says, but I'm thankful, but I don't get more and more, you've got to think about that. You see, the grateful get more. This is a universal principle. If you're getting less and less in your life, if you're feeling more and more worried, you've got to really give this some thought, but maybe you're just in denial. The worst of people to talk to as a therapist, I've been a therapist for many years. The worst lot of people to work with is addicts. They're in denial. No, I don't have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. But your life is falling apart. Things are getting worse. No, I don't have a problem. Okay, wait and see. Anyway, I don't talk to people like that anymore, and I have nothing to do with people like that anymore. People who are so lost that they don't know they're lost. If you realize you're lost, at least you can find a way out. So I, as a person, turned to Allah, and I was needy on Allah, and then Allah guided me to recognize that He's enough for me. I can let go of the neediness. I have Him. I have Allah. And ever since then, I just feel that havingness of Allah. I'm focused beyond the seeming dramas of this world, because that's what happened to Adam and Eve and the children of Adam and Eve when they colluded with Satan and they lost their higher awareness and they fell into forgetfulness. The Quran guides us to remember Allah, because Adam and Eve and the children of Adam and Eve forgot Allah. People forgot Allah. People left that expanded awareness, that Allah consciousness, that believer status, that security level of consciousness. Today, I am more secure. The difference between me in my life to where I am is I'm increasing in security, in the experience of security. I'm becoming more and more secure. How do I become more and more secure? I become more and more secure because I'm more and more aware of Allah. What does that mean? Does it mean you got a big beard, you got a hat on your head? You can have a big beard, but that doesn't mean you're aware of Allah. Does it mean that you pray all the time? No, I do pray every day. But I'm not in a show of religiosity. The Quran says, woe to those who stand in prayer, but whose hearts lack the smallest of kindnesses. Means those who are praying, but the disease in their heart remains. See, every time I worship Allah, every time I become aware of Allah, I take that one step towards Him, He takes 10 steps towards me. You see, as a real believer, when you submit and you become Allah aware, you draw closer and closer to Allah. For every one step you take, 10 steps He takes towards you. You walk towards Allah, He comes running towards you. And you feel it. As a true believer, I can speak as a true believer who feels the closeness with Allah. More closer than I've ever been. I'm not saying I'm the closest. I'm just saying from where I was to where I am, I'm on a path of drawing closer and closer and closer and closer. And Allah is taking 10 steps for every one step I take. So, there's 11 steps. Every time I focus on Allah, I'm 11 spaces closer. He's 10 and my 1. Good investment, right? It's a great investment. In fact, this is what it's all about. Who will learn to invest and make this great investment? Who will learn about A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Who will learn, who will make a study of those 3 statements and how to operationalize them? How to actually, not just say it like a child. I said it. No. How to actually understand why those statements are said. A true believer, one who has received guidance, understands each of those 3 statements. I knew nothing of this at the time. Remember, the gurus and the pandits, they didn't know this, they didn't tell me this. They tell me do more rituals. Didn't help me, doesn't help them, but they got nothing else to tell anybody else. That's what the gurus and the pandits are all about. They are about religious expertise. We'll tell you what you're doing wrong, we'll tell you what you're doing right, we'll tell you what to do, you know. But they don't tell you about being aware of Allah. The Quran tells you about being aware of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ spoke about being aware of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you know anything, teach it. I know about being aware of Allah, I'm teaching it. From my own experience. You do with it whatever you want to do with it. You want to listen to it and entertain yourself with it, listen to it and entertain. You want to listen to it and derive benefit from it. Whatever your level of investment while you listen to this will determine, what you get out of it. Some people won't even listen to it. It just shows. It matters not whether you caution them or you caution them not. That's what the Quran says. It doesn't matter to some people. They're so lost. They're so diseased. You can tell them all these things. They'll still remain those desperately needy people. They won't realize they have Allah. They won't experience the havingness of Allah. Anybody who is aware of Allah and is aware that they have Allah is different from somebody who's not aware of Allah. So in the world, you get 4 types of people. And the 4th type, there's 2 levels. I'm going to tell you, right? Because this is important. I didn't know. Nobody told me this. I had to figure it out. Allah guided me through the intuition, through the Quran, through the Hadith, through Islam. I came to understand it because I was one who could reason. The Quran says it's a book for those who reason, for those who use reason. Most of the Islamis who practice Islamism, thinking it's Islam, they are blind followers of the gurus and the pandits. So we know which category they fall into. So the first category, I've explained this to you over the years, but I'm going to mention now, is those who deny Allah. Those who say there's no God, and they stop there. They don't say, I can't see God, I don't know, I don't believe, whatever I can't see. They don't believe in the unseen. They don't know there's a higher level of awareness, there's a higher level of perspective. They're in a lower perspective, a lower perception. They would shaitan. They have forgotten Allah. They are, I call it 3rd density, 4th dimensional. They're living as a human animal. They think that, everything that they look at is all there is. They don't know things are not what they seem. They don't know there's a higher level. So they think like, I'm intelligent, I went to university, I can use my mind, there's no God. Right? Then there's the mushrik. They say there is a God and they have ideas about God. Their ideas of God are different from the ideas of the kuffar, the concealers and deniers. Their ideas of God is ideas of God being other than God. You know what I mean? God is a man, God is a woman, God is somewhere in the world, God is some kind of deity. So when they say they believe in God, they're not really believing in God, experiencing security, aware of Allah. Sorry for the interruption, but I was saying to you that there are those who have ideas about the Creator not existing. And then there are those who have ideas about the Creator that are not the Creator. It's just ideas that they have, and they're not experiencing Allah consciousness. They're not aware of God actually. You know what I mean? And we know about the kuffar, the concealers, the mushriks, those who associate partners with Allah, those who think that there's powers other than God. They think money is God, is shirk and all that, somebody else can help them. They turn to other than Allah. You understand? They turn to somebody, the kuffar might be like, we don't turn to anybody, we just carry on, whatever. But those who say they believe in God, but they don't really believe in God in the sense of they don't know the true nature of God. They're turning to somebody other than God, but they think they're turning to God. That's the mushrik. And the munafiq, they have all the nice, like we know Allah, the Quran, the Prophet and all that stuff, but they're not really Allah aware. See, this is the issue here. They're not really Allah. They're not bad. They're just not Allah aware. You see? None of these people are bad or good. I was all 3 of them. It's just that we are in a trance. We have forgotten Allah and we're remaining in a state of forgetfulness. And we're creating problems for ourselves. We're keeping ourselves from Allah. That's why I say those who turn to Allah needily and desperately, thinking that the life of this world is primary and more important. They don't know there's a hereafter. They don't know Allah is sufficient for us and there's a hereafter for us who are believers and we can work towards it. They don't know anything. They're like, I got this problem, it's a big, worst problem. This is why I say Allah alone is for us to give excessive focus to, exclusive attention to. Strong feeling is for Allah alone. So if you start feeling like, oh, I lost my job and that's like the worst thing ever, if you make anything of this world the worst thing ever, you must understand not being aware of Allah is the worst thing ever. Do you understand? If you live your life and you don't become Allah aware, and you don't bring to Allah a purified heart, that is the worst thing ever. This is why I always say that people get all emotional about what's happening in the world or different parts of the world. Yes, you can be saddened by it, and yes, you can stand for truth and justice and all that. But when you overreact to what's happening in the world, it still means you are in that forgotten state. You're still lost in this world. We are here, the Quran guides us to remember Allah, draw closer to Allah. And people live in the kuffar, the mushrik, and the munafiq states, and they don't know. So the fourth category of people who incline to truth, and there's two levels. There are people who are reasoning people and they want to know truth. And so at one level, people might submit to Islam. Islam meaning the universal way of peace. They might say, look, we don't want to follow ideas from our mind. We're looking for guidance, the guidance from revelation. And there'll be people who of the book, right? There have been people throughout time, even before the Prophet Muhammad, even before the Quran, even before Islam as we know it, who were believers. I'm talking about them. People who are inclining to truth. They're like, we want to know the truth. And so some people will accept, the way of Islam, and they're submissive in religion, and the Quran is telling them eat halal and tayyib, and they say, okay, we'll eat halal and tayyib, right? Not the Islamis. They say we are reading the Quran and all that sort of thing, and they pick and choose. They'll eat halal, but tayyib they're not interested in. You get what I mean? So they don't fall into that category. Do not ever think the Islamis fall into the category of the fourth category. Those who say they are submissive in religion are truly submissive in. That means they are accepting a way of life that is Islam. No alcohol, nothing that, not even selling alcohol, not harming society, not promoting ill in society, promoting well for society, no gambling, no opening up gambling shops or whatever it is, or establishments, not even selling cigarettes and things like that, anything that harms anybody, like real people inclining to truth that are supporting the development of themselves, of humanity, they won't do these kind of things. You get what I mean? They know this is harmful. I'm making a profit by selling cigarettes. This is killing people. It's wasting money. You get what I mean? They have this kind of cognizance, halal and tayyib. They'll sell halal and tayyib things. You get what I mean? But now the Islamis, they're for the world, right? And money. So they're like, what happened to the people of Moses? They picked and chose. We'll take this, we'll leave that and all that. So the Islamis do that. They sort of, they say, but it's not haram. Cigarettes is not haram. It's not haram. Since when putting poison in your body or helping other people poison themselves is not haram? Whereas in Islam, there is this thing of poisoning, yourself. Even the boxes on the cigarette says, this will cause cancer. Cigarette smoking causes cancer, and all that. Where? So I'm saying that those who are real believers, who begin to look at the beauty of Islam, they are people who are submissive, and they're saying, look, we are prepared to operate in a way guided by the Quran and what the Quran is telling us how to live. So at the fourth level, you get people who are really interested in reasoning, and they're really interested in playing a beneficial role in themselves, life, families, and society, and they accept the teachings of Quran. Like, okay, let's pray, let's do this, let's do that. But not blindly like the hypocrites, like with cognizant awareness. You get what I mean? And among those people who are inclining to truth and wanting to play a beneficial role in society, you get what I mean? There are those who will go deeper beyond being submissive in religion, and they will open to Allah consciousness and have their hearts filled with Allah consciousness. Iman will enter into their hearts. You get what I mean? So the fourth category of people who are saying that we've been following atheism, we've been following some ism or itty or whatever it is, right? And we've been following, we're lost as, we don't even know the book that the Quran. We're just reading it, we don't know. Among those people, there'll be people who say, no, we want to really now understand the guidance to humanity. They can, and then they start off with like exploring the Quran and what it's telling us about life and living, and we can see where we sin, and we can stop sinning, or we can ask for forgiveness for our sins, and we can align ourselves to a universal way of benefiting ourselves and each other. That's the 4th level. And then from there, you can go deeper into faith in your heart. That's why the Quran says, do not say that you have faith in your heart, but rather say you are one who's submissive in religion. But that's speaking about the 4th level, part 1. And it's encouraging them to go to level 2. It's not speaking to the Islamis. The Islam is a different kettle of fish altogether, right? Because they're not even submissive in religion. They have ideas of religion. See, the whole thing here is when human beings have ideas about God, or they have ideas about religion, or they have ideas, they're still in their head. They're still in their heads. They haven't submitted to become aware, to see. They're not really aware and seeing. So people, Islamis, they're not aware and seeing the beauty of Islam. They're just following something. They don't know what they're following. You must be this, do this. The Guru says, this is very good. You're doing very good. I'm a good person. I'm doing what the Guru tells me to do. But Islam is not about that. Islam is about looking at the beauty of Allah, unique beauty, looking at the excellence of the Prophet in terms of humanity, looking at the Quran as a wonderful way, a theocracy of supporting humanity. You understand? And Islam is that. And then there's Iman, where you go beyond how to live in this world in a sort of sensible way, in a progressive way, in a constructive way. The 4th category is when people say, look, I want to live sensibly and progressively. I want to use reason. I want to go beyond ideas. I want to become aware of truth, and I want to align to that truth. And it starts off with like how to live in a truly Islamic way. That doesn't mean now you got a big beard and all that. That's truly Islamic, because you can have a beard. Other cultures have beards too, but it's the behavior of the Prophet is truly Islamic. You get what I mean? So the Islamis, they concoct everything. They make it their own thing. It's distorted. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. You know what I mean? But if somebody really is inclining, because the Quran says this is a book for those who believe in the unseen, for those who want to establish connection with their Creator and give of what has been given to them. Guidance has come to me, I'm sharing it with you, I'm giving it to you. I believe in the unseen, I'm aware of Allah and experiencing security with Allah. I have a daily connection practice with my Creator, and I give to people. That book is for me. For those who are like, no, whatever we can see, let's sell things, make money, that's all there is. There's people in this world. For those who are stuck in the seen world and they've forgotten Allah, the Quran says, what does it say? It says, it's guidance. It says, if you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a depressed life. So there's people living in this world denying in their minds, mushriks and associating in their minds, and munafiqs in their minds, and they're living their lives, and now they get problems because you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a depressed. If you don't go multidimensional, if you don't recognize the awareness of Allah, if you don't become aware of Allah, you're still in your mind and in this world like it's very real. You get what I mean? And so when something happens, now you don't know, it's because you are not aware of Allah and you're not living like the Prophet, and you're not supporting a better life for you and a better life for society, for your family, for your children. You're just living like the lost people of this world that have lived, they ended up badly, and in afterlife it was bad. It's bad, you know what I mean? So it's for people, the Quran is for people who want to take their attention off this world and focus beyond this world onto their Creator. And that's what happened with me. When I hit rock bottom, I began taking my attention off this world and focusing on my Creator. Although I started off needily, please fix it. I feel bad, I don't want to feel bad. I became aware of Allah and asked for guidance. And then I realized I had Allah. And I realized that Allah was for me. Today I know Allah never did anything bad to humanity and will never do anything bad to humanity. People are shocked. You get what I mean? So I'm aware of the extent to which Allah is merciful and loving of humanity and blessed. I'm aware. So when you're in this world and you're thinking, my husband shouldn't be nice to other people, other women, and my children should only listen to what I say, and if they don't, it's a problem, and it's a problem if I don't have a job, it's a problem. You're like still in this world. You get it? I mean, you're still in this world. You haven't submitted. You haven't said, I choose to focus on the creator of this world. So Satan is like that. The Quran says Satan threatens you with insecurity and causes you to behave in ways unseemly. But Allah extends to you His forgiveness and of His bounties. See, that means we're living in this world, we only focused on what the body can see and the mind can think. And we have forgotten Allah. People are like, no, what do you mean? I read my prayers, I do this. What do you mean I've forgotten? How's your heart? How are you feeling? How's your mind? Are you aware? You see? So all of us are lost until we receive guidance. Now some people say, I don't need guidance. I already got guidance. But the Islamis, what do they know? They lost with Satan. You get what I mean? They already think, but I already am a Muslim. No, you some modified version of Hindu. You understand? So, and I'm from there too. I'm coming from, it's not me pointing a finger at you thinking I'm an I was one of those modified Hindus in a tribe of modified Hinduism. I didn't know Allah. Where would I have learnt about Allah? So these ideas that many of us have grown up with, that Islamism, they're not Islam. We have these ideas. But these ideas keep us from actually being aware of Allah and experiencing security. They keep us from actually remembering Allah. And that's when A'uzu comes into the picture. A'uzu is for those of us who realize guidance has come to us pointing out that we are in the darkness. Even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was told in the Quran, did we not find you in the darkness and support you into the light? Even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So you might think, no, I'm not in the darkness. Maybe the Prophet was in the darkness and was brought into light. I was never in the darkness. My family is not in the darkness. Look and see the state of your heart and the people around you. Look and see if you are humble before your Creator. Look and see the people around you that you have. Are they humble in front of Allah? Are they aware of Allah? Did they tell you of Allah's mercy? And did they feel it? And did they tell you of Allah's love? What messages did you get when you were growing up about Allah? Was it fear-based? You should fear, you should fear, you should fear. But the Quran says the friends of Allah, they'll never grieve, they'll never fear. Don't fear the friends of those who want to draw closer to Allah. Don't fear. Allah is compassionate and merciful. You see? So you can ask yourself, when you were growing up, in the tribe that you come from, in the group that you come from, how was Allah represented to you? Was Allah represented to you by believers telling you about Allah? Or were you in a tribe where gurus were followed and worshipped and they were telling you about religious expertise? You figure it out if you want to. You can look and see when you're growing up, did you get guidance to assist you to become Allah aware and to actually experience Allah awareness? Because in the awareness of Allah, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. And I was down and out, but I remembered Allah and my heart felt assured. I didn't know what was the way out, but I knew something amazing was happening. That I was heard. Allah was aware of me, I was heard, I was in His care. I was astray, but I was prepared to learn, grow and develop. Because that's what the Quran is all about. It's about learning. It's about growth. It's about development. It's about functioning as a higher level of human being. It's about the potentials that exist for humanity, the possibilities that exist for humanity in this world through our death and beyond. That's what the Quran is standing for. A better life for each of us through our higher awareness of Allah, a higher experiencing Iman, Amal, living a life with other people at a higher level of a life tayyibun. The Quran has always stood for that and will always stand for that. But the people are not standing for that. They're standing for their isms, Islamism, Christianism, Hinduism, all the isms. They got ideas of human beings, groups of people have ideas. They're not really aware of Allah. This is a guidance guiding all humanity to one Creator, one awareness of the one Creator, that when all of us are aware of the one Creator, we all experience assurance. Iman in the heart. Security. I'm on my way back. I'm on my way back. I mean, this to me is the greatest achievement. Whether I get married, don't get married, whether I have money, I don't have money, whether I get sick, whether I get better, whether people die in the world, whatever it is, whether what. The greatest achievement is the peace, the salam in my heart. That I am aware of Allah. I am actually experiencing Allah. The Quran says, Allah responds to the people, let them respond to Allah. Let them respond to Allah. What does that mean? That means let people become aware of Allah and relate to Allah in awe of Allah, in appreciation of Allah, in acceptance of Allah's giving to us, unconditional giving, in the appreciation of the gifts that are given to us. You know what I mean? So anybody who begins to see that their hearts are diseased and admits it has a chance of moving into spiritual peace, spiritual joy, spiritual well-being. That's what I am now more than ever before compared to where I was. I am experiencing spiritual well-being, salam. Anybody who's actually aware of Allah is connected beyond this world to the Creator and feels assured, feels reassured, knows that things are going to get better, is patient. Anybody who really connects with Allah has no problem. If you think you got a problem and you're begging Allah to change it, you're not aware of Allah. Because that's not a problem. This world is temporary. This world was created to see who will remember Allah. And those who remember Allah, there is good for them in this world through their death and beyond. So if you don't remember Allah, and you think the effects, the symptoms of not remembering Allah are a problem, you've confused the cause and the symptom. If you think the symptoms are problems, it's actually the cause of the symptoms that is the problem. You're not aware of Allah. So people are like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because in their heads, they can't get it, that they are unaware. I can only tell you that if you really remember Allah, you will experience well-being, spiritual well-being. Your heart will be assured. You will have a security that's got nothing to do with somebody else taking care of you, you taking care of somebody else, or you taking care of yourself. Because you will say, how did I deny? Everything was around me to see that we are the favored creation of Allah, that we are the favored creation of Allah, that we are the gifts that have been given to us, the capacities that, how was I so in a trance that I just was in my own little world in my own little mind about my own problems and my pleasures. I wasn't aware. That's why the Quran says, look around and see. Look around and become aware. Become aware. No, I got a problem. I'm trying to sort this problem out. Help me, God. You are unaware. You are in a trance. Anytime your attention is fixed on somebody or something in this world, and it's so focused on it and you feel bad, and you're trying to avoid feeling bad, anytime you're worried about something in this world, the only thing, if you're going to worry about something, worry about dying without Iman. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing that can happen. If you're like, no, that's not the worst thing that can happen. That's an indication that you haven't received guidance. You're living like somebody who has no guidance, but you think you've been guided. You get me? You've got to begin to see this. This is the hardest thing. It's easier to teach people who don't know about Islam, true Islam, than to teach Islamism, to teach true Islam to people who are into Islamism, because they're like so confused, that they think that they're there, but they don't realize. That's why I say it's that spiritual well-being. I have Allah. Do you recognize you have Allah? Because if you're aware of Allah, you'll be aware of Allah's compassion upon you. You'll be aware of Allah's kindness to you. You'll be aware of Allah's love. You'll be aware that Allah is sufficient for you. The Quran says Allah is sufficient for the believers. Now, the Islamis say, yeah, but we also need something else too. There's only Allah. There's no something else. So, this is what I'm saying to you. I'm shifting my focus from telling you, because it's very important that I tell you that if you are needy and you turn to Allah needily and you don't realize that as an error, You don't realize my neediness is me being in a trance with Satan about something in this world, but I have Allah, the creator of the world. That means you're not really aware of Allah, because if you in the moment, me as a believer, I get whispered to. That's why I say A'udhu. And the moment I say A'udhu, I look around and say, how can I deny? How can I deny Allah and His love for me? I don't need anybody's love. Nobody can love me. How can I deny Allah and His compassion? I was in darkness, we turned our back towards Allah, and His guidance is available to humanity. How can I deny? You see, anytime I get, that's why when I get up in the morning, through the day, before I go to bed at night, when I got challenges and when I'm really losing it, I say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim, that I claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed, that beyond my current mind and its thinking, distorted, beyond my current heart and its diseased state, there is a higher level of awareness, spiritual well-being. My own mind and my own heart is whispered to, and I am being, there's a challenge for me to actually experience spiritual well-being. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim is a commitment to living from a state of spiritual well-being. A state of spiritual well-being, I say spiritual joy, is that I am happy now. That's got nothing to do with the people, things of this world, or me and what I do, and people and what they do, or what's happening in my world and what's happening in the world. Allah-conscious human beings are aware that in this moment, the real big deal is that Allah has created us, we are His creation, we are in His care. We are taken care of by Him. He is unconditionally gifting humanity. We are loved by Allah. You see, first you have to admit you got a diseased heart, that you have forgotten Allah. That's A'udhu. Then it's Bismillah. That's where you realize that I'm aware of the wonderful nature of Allah, compassionate and merciful. I release judgment against myself. I release judgment against others. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're in that mind that is diseased and that heart that is diseased, you're gone. If you're emotional and affected, it's a sign that you're unaware of Allah. But people, when they are there, they don't claim the refuge with Allah. They don't claim that refuge with Allah, because they don't know. They've been trained by the gurus and the pandits. Just say these words like abracadabra. Just say abracadabra. It's not going to work. You got to know what you are doing. The Quran is a guidance to humanity to show us where we are in error, to show us how to correct. That I am interested in experiencing spiritual well-being. I'm interested in experiencing Allah being sufficient for me. I'm interested in peace. I'm interested in spiritual well-being. I'm interested in the joy of being a creation of Allah. The joy of being at peace. The joy of being Allah's favorite creation on earth. When you got a problem, and like how I had one, and you're so in a trance, you forget Allah. You forget you are the creation of Allah. You forget that you are in His care. You forget that Allah is spinning the earth. You forget that it is because of Allah you are and you continue to be. You don't be humble that Allah, you are the one alone, unique, absolutely valuable resource. Other than you, there is nothing that can benefit. You are the relevant, the only one that benefits us. You forget. You turn to Allah desperately. You're not turning to Allah. You're no different from the mushrik. That's why the Quran says that the associators and the hypocrites will have the same experience. Not that they're bad. We've been schooled into thinking that people are bad if they are deniers, or they're bad if they are judgment for the deniers. Judgment against when I say judgment, I mean withhold love from them. Don't respect them. Don't look down upon them. No, we all are there. We all are there. We all are there. You understand? We all deny Allah to some degree. We all associate partners with Allah. We all say we believe. Those of us who have the Quran, we say we believe, but we don't believe. Don't judge yourself. Allah is not withholding love from us. Allah is compassionate. The opposite of compassion is to withhold love, to have no compassion. Allah says, we turned our back to Him, but He still is not turning His back to us. Gave us guidance. There's a way out of the darkness. There's a way out of the darkness. Now, it's not popular, because in this world, it's the dark ages, spiritual dark ages, right? You can see how people suffer and the suffering they have and they're going to have. Fortunately, it doesn't concern me. I have the guidance. I've received the guidance. I'm a claimer of the refuge. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan. I claim the refuge of Allah. I choose spiritual growth. I choose spiritual peace. I choose that spiritual well-being. That the good feeling that I feel within me has got nothing to do with the world and anybody and anything in creation. The good feeling is about Allah. How much He has loved us and favored us, and even though we went astray, He didn't turn His back towards us. He still has compassion for us. Allah has compassion for all of humanity. Till the day we die, we have the opportunity to receive guidance. If you're a kuffar, if you're a concealer of truth, if you're a denier, if you have ideas that God doesn't exist in your mind because you think you're so smart, you can't see Him, so He doesn't exist. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that God is somewhere in time and space, because God is the creator of time and space. He can't appear in time and space because He's the creator of time and space. This is a whole lesson on Tawheed. Maybe next week we'll get into it, inshallah. But you can't get to Tawheed if you are an associator, if you're a denier. So if you're a denier, Allah is compassionate. And before you die, you can say, I'm a denier, I'm so sorry, I don't want to deny Allah and His mercy and His compassion and His love. I don't want to deny myself from spiritual well-being. If you're an associator, you grew up with worshipping gods other than God. You know what I mean? You have ideas of gods, people, things that they are gods. You can say the same. I'm keeping myself from spiritual well-being. I have all these religious ideas. I've been indoctrinated with doctrines, religious doctrines that are nothing to do with truth. Ideas of human beings that have organized themselves to believe certain things, and I just believe this. I'm not a believer. I just have these beliefs. You can realize, my God, this keeps me from spiritual well-being. If you're an Islami, you grew up and they told you just don't eat pig and that's the best thing now, everything is sorted out, and you think, okay, that's your idea of religion. I mean, people have an idea of Islam, which is not what Islam really is. And then you can say, oh my God, I've been astray. And lucky Allah didn't shun me for denying Him, associating partners with Him, or being an Islam, me being an Islami, one who is following Islamism, not Islam. Allah is truly merciful. The real thing here is, can I support spiritual well-being? So this is where who is interested in spiritual development comes in. This is where most people stop listening to me because they don't want to develop themselves spiritually. But I already am a Muslim. No, you're an Islami. You're not aware of Allah. Your heart is diseased. You say you believe, but you don't believe. You're even in denial if you're an Islami. If you're not an Islami, good for you. If you're a believer on the path, you know it. You know it. You know you got a diseased heart. You say, A'udhu, I claim refuge. The last 2 chapters of the Quran is, I claim refuge with Allah from Satan. If you are aware that Satan is an enemy avowed, if you are aware that Satan has whispered to Adam and Eve and whispered to humanity, and that you have already been whispered to, you are under the effects of the whisperings of Satan. If you are aware that your heart is contaminated, no, my heart is not contaminated because I kept all my fast in Ramadan. You just starved yourself. You didn't use fasting for the purpose it was prescribed, to attain taqwa. Fasting is for believers. It's not for the Islamis. The Islamis just starve themselves. Fasting is for those who have taqwa, who want to develop strength, spiritual strength. For the people who have taqwa, they want to develop their spiritual well-being. They're like, I'm okay without food. I'm okay without the body's appetites. I'm okay without money. I'm okay without a house. Without all these things that I think I need, I'm okay. I need nothing. What I need, I have. Allah. I'm created to depend on Allah, not on anybody else, not on myself. Not anybody's created for me to depend on them. I'm not created to depend for people to depend on me. We're all created to depend on Allah. You see, it takes courage to say, I'm in the first 3 categories, because people are feeling guilty. They carry shame. They carry guilt. This is why the mercy of Allah. You say, A'udhu, then you can receive the mercy of Allah. You can say, I will not judge myself for being underdeveloped spiritually, nor will I judge others. Allah is not withholding love from us. Allah is giving us guidance. This is the love of Allah. He's giving us guidance even though we turned our back. There's me, there's my family, there's other people in the world. We are all spiritually underdeveloped. It's okay. It's okay. Don't shame yourself. Don't shame other people. Allah is not shaming us. Allah is compassionate. You can let the compassion of Allah reach us if you want to. Did you ever hear me ever telling you should feel guilty? You should feel ashamed? No. I said you can experience remorse. You can realize, has the years come and gone and am I still not aware of Allah? Has the years come and gone and I'm reading the Quran, keeping fast every year, but it's a big fast? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I denied the guidance. I didn't approach the study of the Quran claiming refuge with Allah. I didn't want to know what it really means. I didn't want to know the Prophet as the Prophet really was as an adult. I have these ideas from childhood. As a child, I had an idea of Allah. I still continue it. I have an idea of the Prophet as a child. I have an idea of Islam as a child. But I haven't, as an adult who can reason, chosen to study about Allah, spiritual development, about the Quran, really as an adult, and to see the beauty of the Quran, the beauty of the Prophet, the beauty of Islam. I'm not saying it. You can begin to see that you're just stuck in how you lived your life. And this is why A'uzu is so important. A'uzu says, the way I've been whispered to, my family has been whispered to. No. We're not whispered to, some of you might be thinking. We've never been whispered to because we keep our fast. We don't eat pig, so we've never been whispered to. The Quran says, eat halal and tayyib and be aware of Satan who is an enemy of Allah. Eat halal and tayyib and be aware, in this very next sentence, and be aware of Satan who is an enemy avowed unto you. You get what I mean? No, A'uzu. No, I'm right. My family is right. Follow in the way of your parents. The Quran says about those who follow in the way of their parents and their forefathers. No, I follow in the way of Islam, the Quran, the Prophet. I worship Allah. I turn to Allah to guide my heart. I claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. I know that I and the people around me have been in darkness. I don't feel ashamed for me and them. I'm just saying, will you realize this, that you are in a distorted mind and a diseased heart of the ideas you've had? Will you want to be observing from a higher perspective? Do you want to, as the adult you are today, actually become aware of why you are here, beyond your child's ideas and thinking, and just living as a child? Because that's what A'uzu is all about. A'uzu says, I want to go beyond my own lower perspectives and perceptions. I want to go beyond worshipping Satan, being with him in my mind, with my distorted ideas, with my emotions, with all my guilt and shame, and all trying to appear not bad, trying to appear good, with all my obligations. I want to become aware of the truth. I want to learn as an adult about Allah. I want to learn about, as an adult, the message of the Quran. I want to learn as an adult about the Prophet and what he really was about. I want to learn as an adult about Islam. I want to learn about an adult about dua. Not my childhood ideas. See, that's A'uzu. And that compassion of Bismillah. I let Allah's compassion. I'm in error. It's okay. I've got to learn, grow and develop. Allah is not shunning me. Allah still gives me guidance. Allah is merciful. Allah is truly merciful. Look at the Quran and see it as the mercy to mankind. People say, Quran, mercy to mankind. Quran, mercy to mankind. They'll quote the verses. But they don't look at it as the mercy that it is. They're not getting anything from it because they're not approaching it with sincerity. They're not approaching it as an adult from A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. If you approach the Quran with A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, you're an adult. You say, me and the people I know, we are in darkness. Look at how we suffer. Look at how we suffer. Look at the diseases now. Look at how we behave. We have no humility. We commit oppression against ourselves and against other people. People are aggressive, violent. Withholding of love. That is a heart that is diseased. Withholding of caring from themselves. We and the people around us, we deny Allah's caring. We deny Allah's mercy. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about we were lost, we are lost. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how loved we are by our Creator, how we are the favorite creation of Allah. Do you see you or anybody around you experiencing spiritual well-being? Do you know anybody around you who feels strong in them, not because of their money and their business, that if they lose their money and their business, they're weak now, or because of their husband's strength, or because of whatever, pension or whatever. Do you know anybody who feels strong within them because of Allah? And they can say, it's okay if I don't have a job, it's okay I don't have anybody, I have Allah. Allah alone is truly loving. Nobody can love us as Allah has loved us. There's nobody to love us but Allah. The true believer, drawing closer to Allah, I speak from experience, becomes aware that no human being can love us, and nothing in the physical world can suffice us. Nothing. This is not just words that you must say. This is something that you must, if you say A'udhu, you will become aware of the mercy of Allah and the compassion, and then you'll start realizing the greatness of Allah. Then you'll realize you have Allah, you always had Allah. You'll realize you have Allah's love, and there's nothing more you can ever want than what you have been already given. You get what I mean? But when you are a non-believer, you're like, no, I need a job, I need money. You can want these things, you can have these things. You can enjoy the world in a tayyib way, there's nothing wrong with that. But that is from Iman, that is from Amal. You can support a tayyib life. I'm not saying leave your job, I'm not saying don't get married. I'm saying even kuffar get a job, mushriks get a job, munafiqs get a job, kuffar get married, mushriks get married, munafiqs get married. I'm saying be a believer who gets a job or starts a business. Be a believer who's married and has parents. Be a believing human being. There's an opportunity for those who want it to live as outstanding human beings on this planet, and I have taken it. From who I was to where I am, it's a miracle. You know what I mean? And if I didn't get to where I am, that would be a very sad thing. Not that I'm divorced, or my children don't respect me, or I don't own millions of rands. These things do not in any way disturb me, because I know where I was, I know what it felt like to be lost in ignorance and superstition, in arrogance, to be an oppressor on this planet, to walk on this earth without humility. The Quran says, walk on the earth with humility. I'm walking on the earth with humility. Get what I mean? It's a win. It's an amazing win, because the life of this world is temporary. The hereafter is real. So you can see, I'm telling you, as a real believer, one who believes in Allah and the last day, I'm telling you about Allah in this world. I'm telling you, nothing in this world compares to the benefit that you get in the afterworld if you live in this world with spiritual well-being. The good feeling of a believer has nothing to do with the created world and anybody or anything in the created world. The good feeling of spiritual joy of the believer is the awareness of the mercy and compassion of Allah and the gifts and favors, and we being the highest status on earth, given the highest status, we're given ability of reason and faculties. People don't appreciate. They are worshipping Satan. You know what I mean? So shukr to Allah who has guided me, and I have received the guidance. The accessing of the guidance is the most important thing to me. Not money, not a man, not a woman, not a child, not a parent, not anything of this world. That I want to glean the most I can get out of God. I am Hanifa. The Quran says, follow in the way of Abraham. And Abraham was Hanifa. The way of Abraham is Hanifa. What is that? It's inclining to truth. I am more interested in truth than the ideas of humanity that are misguided ideas. I'm more interested in the experience of truth than the mind and its distorted emotions and the behaviors that come from distorted emotions. Shukr to Allah, He extends His forgiveness to us and He gives us of His bounty, even though Satan has threatened us with insecurity and caused us to behave in ways unseemly. Satan keeps us from our highest potentials, our highest possibilities. We can all be outstanding human beings. I choose to be one. We can all be empowered adults, really benefiting ourselves and benefiting other people, giving to other people, receiving from other people. I choose to do that. I choose to stand for the potentials and possibilities of human excellence for humanity. I choose to demonstrate it. Never mind it's not popular. Never mind I might be the one lone voice. I don't mind. In the hereafter, in this world I'm in peace. In this world I'm accessing my power. In this world I feel prosperous. And paradise is for people like us, inshallah. All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah, who has guided me to the path of human excellence, strengthens me on the path of human excellence, and His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.